This one is from Gunplalukito.
Lukito.
Yes.
Me first?
Go for it.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Aaron.
Look, I gotta say, I really like this one. I like it. I like the photos, and I know it's like kind of all blue and grey, but just for some reason, I just think that the stance on it is cool. Like, if I look at the sort of, you know, those pods on the leg and everything, they're quite well done. They're quite well weathered. It's sort of a different style of weathering almost. Like, it's not your classic chipping, then, you know, streaking and staining. It's kind of more of a like overall grime kind of look to it, which, you know, if you want to get into the argument about scale, this is probably close to what it would really be like. You know, they'd get dirty, but they wouldn't necessarily be covered in chipping and stuff like that. So, yeah, I really liked this one. I think a few things, like in terms of to sort of, you know, bring it to life would be we need a little bit more contrast. Now, whether that's through the colors you might choose, a bit of interest in there to break up some of that blue, you know, and, you know, where you've got like blue and grey and maybe a couple of shades of blue. Blue's a tough one. We talked about that last time. If you're going to put things like filters and washes over blue, then it'll bring it all to kind of look like the same color, which is sort of what I would say from this. Like, at first glance, it almost looks like the whole thing is blue except for those white parts on the chest. So maybe think about in terms of, you know, a bit more color interest in there just to sort of help it pop, and then that'll give some contrast between where, you know, the panels are clean versus dirty, and, you know, it'll really kind of bring that weathering to life. But yeah, again, I like it. I think it's a pretty cool little model, so well done.
Yeah, Mike.
Am I seeing camouflage? The little pots of kind of olive green tone. I think this has actually got a bit of a camo pattern on it, to be honest with you.
Is that what it is?
I checked that out. It's like the filtering on it.
I thought so too at first, but I'm looking through this and it's kind of everywhere, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is like a real subtle kind of Navy SEAL-esque kind of camo kind of an idea, maybe, if I'm reading this correctly, which may or not be the best of comments, only because if we're trying to figure it, and I'm not 100% sure if it's a filter or a camo, that probably means is to the modeler listening, is that the idea is there, the execution's not quite probably what you hoped it would be. Because I'm a little confused. I'm not saying this in a bad way, just I don't know is my answer, and that's kind of not the best of answers. Like, is it got a little bit? I think it might, but it's a mix of weathering and then maybe that as well in some parts. But it works. It does work, like Aaron says, overall, in terms of taking it to where you probably want to go in the next level. Because I'm seeing some customization. I'm seeing some understanding of kind of the realism of what a machine like this would probably look like in reality. So I like that part about it. And there are some opportunities with the dark tones. Anytime using a dark tone, regardless of its space environment or not, you do have opportunity to contrast with a lighter tone of a dust or an earth or some sort of chemical oil or leakage or something to kind of, you know, you can do some other things. So I actually think, to me, this one, I like it just as, but it looks like 70s, 80% done to me. And I kind of want to shove you down the road a little bit forcefully and just say, you know what, you need to spend a little bit more time just hammering things home. Not in a negative way, because I think you're kind of in that cusp of you're going there. And I don't know how to maybe articulate that the best, but I think you're at the tip of something where your next few pieces with a little bit, maybe either pulling some reference from somewhere else to get kind of something crisper. Because I just don't know what that is. It looks like it's got like a splotchiness all over it. So I like it. It's just I'm not 100% sure what I'm seeing, and that's you know, good or bad. I don't take it at heart.
Yeah, it's funny, Mike, what you're saying. I think what could really help this is some like edge highlighting, like bringing out some of the definition between components with some edge highlighting, because I'm losing some of that detail in its overall kind of wash.
Yeah, I'm going through. Let's see. So yeah, Gunplalukito. Yeah, I think keep going. You know, this is you obviously embraced all of this stuff without being copycat, and you've got your own style happening. I think that's what we see, your own personal style happening. So yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Actually, the thing that I really like most about this model is the style. The colors. I mean, I can see it's a bit of like a kind of a wash of blue, minus the white vents. But I mean, I'm kind of fine with it. It reminds me of the Jesta. I mean, the Jesta is like that too. It's just dark blue. That's all.
Yeah.
I actually kind of really like this.
The dragon is just green.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with it necessarily being like all primarily one color. I think probably what's causing it to be a little bit more kind of washed out, it's like you guys said, it's just because of the filtering over the top of that. Like everyone's talking about, you just have to be careful over the blues and everything. But yeah, I mean, I think it has a really cool style to it. And yeah, definitely. And it's interesting you mentioned about the scale of it being correct, Aaron. I was going to say that I thought that it looked, because of the weathering style that he did with it, it kind of made me think that it's a bit more like kind of what Bro Builder was going for, changing it to look a bit more like a 1/6 scale, sort of like a sort of human-sized robot, or like a 10-foot tall style kind of robot that's been dirty.
Again, though, we sort of don't know, you know, like we're having to guess and make that up. So not such a strong theme with it. So again, we talked a lot about theme and what are you trying to convey? You know, what's the story you're telling?